G'day. It's time to down your unders. Review and dissection of content from some of the sharpest minds in the game. Hosted by Adam Camilleri. Art of War. Down Under.
Hello, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to this episode 207 of the Art of War Down Under podcast. I've been away for a couple of weeks doing some very important works, hopefully bringing the WTC to the world and putting, this possibly greatest event in the world every year on the map a little bit more and bringing it to your eyes. This is the WTC recap episode. And to that end, similar to last year, I reached out to the championship team, that being Team France, and asked for a couple of their playing squad to come and join us. Unfortunately, the second of the playing squad was unable to join us, that being their captain, who decided the discretion was the better part of valor. He should spend his time with his partner, considering he's probably spent nothing but his entire life on Warhammer for the past 6 months. In addition to him being absent, I'm joined by lovely Oliver Weiss, Olivier Weiss, who's been doing double duty both on my show and Nick's show. Thanks for cutting my lunch, Nick. Didn't know you were going to do that, but thanks very much, mate. But hey, he's back. More Olivier for the masses. How you doing, brother?
Hello, I'm doing great. Thanks for inviting me.
No, my absolute pleasure, absolute honor to have you on, brother. And it was so freaking awesome to be able to, honor the French community and put on the France championship game alongside the French wargaming stream. If you want to go check those out, all the VODs are up here, there, and everywhere. But of course, two-part podcast, guys. Over on part 2, we're going to be fielding the questions from our Patreon group, and I'm going to put them to Olivier and getting the goods out of that big old brain of his. But my dude, yeah. not only did you play literally the best list at the event, not only did you win the singles, as in you were the undefeated player who went through the 8-round War Masters, you then went and did the same dang thing with your beautiful team of France into the WTC World Team Championship. You clean swept this, baby. How you feel?
Yeah, I feel great. Because it feels like an accomplishment for the French community that came a long way. That we worked hard those 3 last years to try a new methods of selection, and we knew it would take 3 to 5 years to sit on the podium, and it happens at the 3rd year, so at the best place. So, well, yeah, we're delighted,
man. So, and it's France's first World Team Championship win, yeah,
ever, yeah.
Yeah. Oh, so huge, so monumental and incredible for the French community as well. And
absolutely,
testament to yourself and your team. That's actually one of the first topics I wanted to talk about, because people talk a lot about how hard it is to win the WTC, and a lot of people say, "Oh, you got to get this player, that player, that player, that player." France has had a pretty stable approach, kind of a more like a football approach, where you draft players, you grow your players, and you keep them together. How has that been? I guess optically from the outside in, the community can not like that, as a whole, because they can see that as them being gatekept from that community. Have you guys dealt with any of that? And how do you feel now that you've gone the other side of, say, 3 years of very hard work?
Yeah, so to be fair, I've got to start by a massive shout out to Matthew, or also known as Manuel. That is the French president of the federation. He has done a tremendous work with all his team to build the condition for us to bring that method. So first, he has built a huge base of competitive players gathered around a league system in 3 levels. So we have 1,040 players and 400 players right now, playing all around France in a league system, in team events. So it's approximately 1 event a week, okay?
Wow.
And yeah, it is amazing, and it's an amazing job he's done so far with his team. And this gave us the opportunity to say, well, we have this structure that putting pressure on the top level competitive players and bringing the best players to the top naturally. So now it's up to the captain or the selectioner to make the best use of this jewel Matthew has offered the community, and managed to select the few best players or the few most motivated players. And that start by breaking the chapels, as we say in France. So of course this league system works with team leagues, and when you select a French team, you have to make some opponent be new teammates. So that's the challenge of the captain of the selectioners.
Yeah.
And that was our job, and it was, I think, easier than building this entire community and this entire league structure. So we decided, Laurent, that LOL, started this system 3 years ago at the first WTC post-COVID. And the performance we did, him and me, because I was captain the year after, were not that good in regard to the leaderboards and where we end, but still we were building up. And towards this objective. It happens this year. I'm very happy it happens under Zika's captaincy, and so early. Yeah.
From 2022 to 2024, how many of the players that won this year played in all two previous?
That's a good question. I think only 3, but only 1 on the field. So I was selected 3 years ago, and I played on the field those 3 years. Zika was not selected, but was coach 2 years ago. It was I selected him as a player last year, and this year he was captain. So it was there 3 years, but only 1 year on the field. And Moyashi was selected in 2022, 2023, and this year it was coach, strategy coach, so replacement, able to replace any players in case of emergency.
Yeah, so ninth player, and then you have gentlemen like Sako, who played every year, but just not necessarily for France.
He only played last year with Hugo, Kentel, and Alex. They played last year for Belgium, but they are pretty new player in the top competitive field.
Excellent.
On the scene. So it's only since the LGT 2 years ago where Sako started to shine.
Yeah.
And we started to see him. Yeah, in the league system. Yeah.
Well, that's awesome. So I was led to believe that you guys had kind of kept the squad together for the last 3 years, but that's actually even better. You guys were able to recognize the talent and absorb it into the stability you already had and you're already building, and kind of use that to level up. I think that's even better. But it's not surprising to see in other teams where they stick, maybe 5 to 6 players go every year for 3 years in a little bit of a block. And because it's a big, when was your first WTC?
It was 5 years ago.
Yep.
In Zagreb. I was just visiting.
That was my first one too.
Yeah, I was just visiting. I played singles, and I've only been playing for 6 months there before. Did pretty well. Then next year, I co-captained with Stephen Box, the United Nation.
Yep.
And after that, COVID came, and then 3 WTC, not ETC, but WTC there. Yeah, absolutely.
Quick question for you. After playing in your first WTC, how much better as a player did you think you got?
It was instantly much better because it gives you the slap you need to get to get some humility or modesty. You come to the event and then you think you have something better than the others. You look down the lists. Oh, to be fair, before COVID, half of the team came with what they had on the ladder. Not really trying to be optimal on the meta. So the second part of the ladder. And now it's very different. Now we have the YouTube channel as your channel or a lot of channel, and everyone knows what the meta is, and even Andorra or Mexico, so new team coming, they come very optimal on the meta. That's new. That's been new for the 3 last year, and the intensity of the event is getting better. But already 5 years ago, you learned how to play. Okay, I was playing Drukhari, and I faced Scary. Okay.
Yep.
I didn't know Scary because I was too young in the scene. So someone told me, it's the Archon, the Omega and Alpha Archon of the world, right? Okay, I said, okay, I'm gonna show it's not, and I won by 1 point, thinking I had won by much more because I had the list that he couldn't beat, but he played it so amazingly. He only lost by 1 point.
Wow, nice! What a great story as well at your first. That would have been at ETC, but fantastic. Switching back to Team France, is there anything you can point your finger at that you think gave you an edge this year, or anything you think brought you success?
Except from the community that has brought a tremendous support with models, with money, because it's a lot of money to bring a selection around the world to participate to foreign events. That is the key to understand how you have to position on the meta scale to be competitive.
Yep.
So that has been enormous. And after that, on a meta level, I think we were not scared because we were confident from the season. We were not scared to take a step aside from the meta. With those 2 Horde lists I believe you've seen, we were not scared to take the Death Guard that we thought was good and performed pretty well. Not scared as well not to take any sisters.
Correct.
Where everyone was taking sisters, because we thought it was okay. It was a blank, a very useful blank at the pairing, trying to draw things to open the matrix for others. But we had other lists to do that. So that gave us an edge. Not be scared.
So I remember analyzing your lineup, because myself and I think the vast majority of the people who I talk to about the WTC, I respect, people who've won the WTC, people who've, won multiple at times. They said France had the best 8 lists. When you put all 8 together and stood back and looked at how they all fitted together, France had the best 8 lists. And my assumption was you did not take Blood Angels, did you? You took Black, of course. You took your Black Templars, and so my assumption was, because everyone says Black Templars, Blood Angels and Sisters are the 2 best armies in the game, and we all know what happens to the 2 best armies in the game at the WTC. Unless they're Eldar tier broken last year, they get pinned, they get flipped, and they get busted. Like people,
Absolutely.
like Poland will play 100 games each in order to make sure that Blood Angels doesn't get a big win against them, that kind of thing. And so when I saw your lineup, I thought that's what you were doing.
Okay, so I have a say. Is I think a very good list that no one knows is always better than a busted list that everyone knows. So that's why I'm always trying to be out of the left field, as you say in English. I'm trying to find some colloquial yet there.
I love your list, by the way. I'm actually a big fan. I'm a big Weiss stan, so to speak, because I always want to see what you're cooking, because I always feel like you operate not too dissimilar from myself, but you do things a little bit more better than I do, so to speak.
Thank you, then. I've started that, to be fair, 3 years ago when I brought the Salamanders, and that performed pretty well. So it was it was Eric, to be honest, Eric Latouras, that inspired me on trying to do that. I remember him bringing the Australian team to the win with some pretty wide list that no one understood, and especially this GSC list, that it was the only one to play, and taught everyone how to play GSC in the WTC. And I realized that that day that from now on, there was no winning WTC without at least two lists, no more than four, but two lists that no one will understand and will take us
Unconventional, yeah.
unconventional. And so I've been trying to do that. So I've done that with the Salamanders. In the last Pyra, I've done that with the Blood Angels, where everybody was playing the Iron Storm. Performed pretty well. I was also invited by Nick. In the LGT, previous LGT, I was in the top 8 with the Raven God list.
Yep.
And actually, I really like that kind of research, this list building. That is where I'm having the most fun in 40K. So when it works, it's, of course, a pride.
Brilliant. All right, let's talk about your 8-pack, your 8 lists.
Mm-hmm.
And of course, everyone always wanted to point at the Death Guard, because in my mind, of course, people look at Death Guard. It's not something that goes out and gets big wins. It grinds in the middle of the table, but it never really gives up big wins either. So when I looked at Death Guard, I assumed, in my mind, I can think of better factions to do that you hadn't taken. So why did you take Death Guard instead of the other options?
Well, it has some pretty wild abilities.
Yep.
So lossless shooting was hardly nerfed, harshly nerfed right before the WTC, and Plague Burst were still very good because they have other use than lossless shooting, and we figured they relatively have been buffed because the rest of the meta would unequipped from lossless. So that was one of the first reasons. Second reason is this -1 save is a meta breaker because when you have heavily armored infantry in the game, having this -1 save kills every 2-up save armor of contempt mechanism. So Blood Angels were not that great on it. Dark Angels was not that great as well. So we love that. And finally, it has a lot of resources, quite quick, especially the drones. And when you give this kind of list a table, it goes very wild. We were preparing only for the 4 last round that are Search and Destroy and Crucible, right? So it was 2 deployment that were in quarter table, so very closed table compared to the tipping point or I don't know. And so on those 4, especially those 4 deployments, Death Guard were convincing on the defense role.
Okay, so let's transition to talking about essentially the skew within your 8-pack, which was your 2 Horde lists. At what point in preparation did you realize that Hordes were kind of broken in this meta? I'll definitely pat myself on the back a little bit, because the small interactions I had with Team Australia when they were talking about Space Marines, I was like, you should really look at any Horde you can get your hands on. Primaris Crusaders are broken for their points in this meta because everyone just assumes Horde is gone, Horde is dead because of the changes in Pariah, and so everyone just took away all their Horde killing ability. Like, you think about Sisters into Hordes, they have no options. Congratulations, you maybe killed 1 Primaris Crusader with your melter gun. I don't care. When did you figure out?
Very lately. So it was first Moyashi that told me, okay, you know what Blood Angel do, right? So let's try something else. Why don't you try the Black Templars? Because Black Templars were in the meta as an option to solve the Necron problem in the mid-season. And we were thinking that as everyone is unequipping against Horde, and as everyone is unequipping lossless weapon, that most of the time goes with the blast ability,
Yep.
The Horde may have a shot. So we decided to go to our last training with me playing Black Templars and Tanker playing Steel Sisters, who was not convincing at Sisters. So when we decided to for the roster to go to the Pyra July, he said, "Okay, I'm going to switch. I'm going to try the Space Marine, Chaos Space Marine." We have one of our 30 players that are so he's called Biolix, and he was in the single playing, and he's very fond of the accursed lists. He's been playing them for a year, and he insisted on playing them after Paria and after the Codex.
Yep.
And it's inspired Tanker to play that list. He changed he adapted to his own gameplay. So choosing the Raider detachment that is more tricky, less fast but more tricky. I love it, and it performed really well in Pyra. I was not that convinced on my Black Templar in Pyra because I only had 60, and I decided, why don't we take 40 more? And it was it was not that convincing at the start, because the first reflex you would have is, okay, so how will you score secondary? That's an invalid question. It's normal to have this kind of reflex early when you see that, because you've been playing V9 and V8, and you need normally chaff unit to score secondaries.
Yep.
But here we are in WTC, so what you need is not scoring secondaries. What you need is scoring delta on secondaries. So you need to score more secondaries than your opponent. And having this kind of list makes sure you are making the other struggle. So you are suffocating him on the secondaries. First turn, that was the best moment of my day, when an opponent was just tossing those bangers that are secure no man's land or extend battle line first turn, because they knew it was either tossing that or offering the game. If you have 100 Space Marines charging you, same for the Horde, the Chaos Space Marine Horde charging you turn one, then you're dead, right?
What you're saying is, like, the best secondaries in the game, people were pitching, because if they go and get extend battle lines, you've given 100 Primaris Crusaders a second movement phase, because now they get to charge in turn one when they wouldn't have otherwise. And
it's
then the
more than
game's
a second,
over.
because it is a second and a third, because you will charge, so 2d6 reroll, so it's 8 approximately, and Python consolidation. So now you have 100 Space Marine in the mid-board, turn one.
Game's over.
Game over. Yeah, game over.
And what you're saying there is that, exactly right. You don't need to score your secondaries. It doesn't matter, what your score is, as long as it's a big differential to them. It can be 51 as long as they're only on 25. It doesn't matter.
Absolutely. And even if you are obsessed with scoring secondaries, when you look at the secondaries you have, you will not be helped. Blood Angels list with chaff unit will not score better than you will, because both unit will not be able to score behind enemy line easily, or that kind of stuff. You will not you will not have any problem to score the good action secondaries like containment. You will be delighted to toss recover asset or locust to get a CP, because you will need CPs with this list. So, to be honest, I felt that I was scoring better secondaries with this obese list than I was scoring secondaries with my Blood Angels. Because also there is several secondaries where I could advance an action or fall back an action, because I was full of battle line. So it was quite counterintuitive, but still worked very well on secondaries.
So probably should have given this context at the start. So Olivier, for those who do not know, if you're living under a rock, played 100 Primaris Crusader Black Templar list with Tunis of Scouts.
Yeah, Tunis of Scouts and a lieutenant flown up.
And then Matt Bonnet, who's tanker, played Max Accursed Cultists with cultists and legionaries and the usual Chaos Space Marine stuff. But he played Horde as well. And so those were the two that kind of, no matter what, right, one of you guys was going to get to have a big score. And then the other one, like no one in the meta was equipped to put a big score on you. even if you went into like, I didn't even know what a bad matchup. Actually, what did you think a bad matchup for your list was?
And even if he was equipped to give me a really hard loss, maybe he doesn't know.
Yeah,
You
who knows?
know what I mean?
Who
knows?
tested?
Who tested it?
Who tested
And
it? Yeah.
so, like Manny's list, so Blood Angels with lots of muscles and a Calidus, that would have been the pain in the ass. Brian's list with the Thousand
Triple
Suns
Forge
Beast.
Fiends.
Yeah, anytime a Forge Fiend shoot at me, it's like
it's bad.
3 Forge Fiends shoot at me. So it's 18 shots, AP 5, damage 3. So that's an entire pack that goes off. So those two lists were nightmares for me, and as well John's list, Lennon's list. I wouldn't have lost by far, but still I would have lost 100%.
So the only other ones that I thought in my head could give you problems would be Vanilla, possibly. Did you test much into World Eaters?
I tested it. It was okay. So if I play the perfect game, I think I would.
Yeah.
But it is very hard to play a perfect game against something that is that fast and that deadly and operated by Anthony. So on my matrix, it was written, okay, if we need it, I can go, but there's a very high risk of outplay, and it is on his side. So he is much more likely to outplay me than I am.
And it's also risky, like if he just rolls more than average 4+ fight on death, or Angron comes back early.
Absolutely,
it just gets really messy. The other one was how did you feel into Space Wolves?
It was the same but easier. So they had the power to kill me.
Well, they had to go first, we thought.
They had to go first, of course, but they had the power to get me, but with the proper microgestion. So I've practiced it 3 times, so I was confident. So with that kind of a microgestion, I was pretty sure to win the game. And it's not as risky as Anthony's list, because it's I can move block it, and I can also, so they are based on fall back and charge.
Yeah,
and I can prevent the cavalry to fall back or make the cavalry lose the third of the effective. So,
and if you got them on your
hard.
table pick and they had to fight you on like Super L's or something, it's very awkward. Yeah.
Yep.
Preparation wise, so how many games did you get in with your list between Pariah Nexus and WTC?
Okay, so in real life, I got like 7 games with my list, and like 10 to 15 in TTS. So I was pretty unexperimented. That's why I decided to go for the singles, because I was quite confident to play that list the right way on the strategic level, but not on a logistic level. So there's a very high intensity list that you need to be very precise and very thorough when you attribute the wounds. It's very easy to cheat with that kind of list. Who is in cover, who is not, who has a 4-up, who has a 3-up. Do you want to remove a power fist? Are you not removing someone that is breaking coherency? So and also, so that's the question for you. But not only you have to make sure you know what's happening, but also that your opponent is understanding very clearly what's happening. Otherwise, you will build phantasm around your shenanigans, right? So I needed to work my opponent's management skills and also my time management skills around this list. So I decided to go for the War Master. I wasn't planning to go to the cutoff, so I was planning to have this day off to rest a bit. But when you are selected to the cutoff, you will not drop. You have a responsibility to showcase where I'm at. So I went to the end.
Was there a push by Team France to play in the singles? Because you guys did very well. I think 7 of the top 20 were from the Playing French team.
Yeah, and also Moyashi was 5th. It was the ninth man in the team. And and Grimjolo also was one of the 30 prospects. It was not in the team, but it was in the prospect from Team France, and did like 6th or 7th. But yeah, we did pretty well. There was no push from the captain. Everyone wanted to go as a training. We were very highly motivated. We realized there was opposite push from other seed 1 countries. Maybe it's about the time available. Maybe it's also about the energy you want to put it, or you don't want to reveal your list, and it's understandable. But we knew we had some sidestep lists that needed more practicing, and honestly, it helped a lot. Also, it also allows you to feel the pulse of the refereeing vibes, and the judges, how they're gonna interpret that point, and it's a high help during the event.
100%. Well, mate, you guys put on an absolute statement. Like it is absolute statement by Team France, what you guys did in the singles, and then went into the teams, because I mean, like you said, a lot of the seed 1 teams don't play. England doesn't play. America never plays, and a bunch of others never play in the singles because, of course, for some nations, like I guess America, there is a bit of jet lag when they come over. They want to make sure they're more rested than not. Certainly for Australia, a lot of Australian players play day 1 and then make sure they're rested. That's kind of been our policy because we're jet lagged as shit when we come over. And so we have to manage ourselves a bit differently. But man, I mean, I wouldn't be surprised if what you guys did, like, actually like tells people that, hey, playing in the singles can make you better for the teams, not worse. And maybe we see a few more seed 1s jumping into the pool, because I think it can only make the singles better. I think it's superb what you guys did. And yeah, absolute freaking statement. Like, France is on the map.
It was like that when it was ESC, right? When it was ETC time, most of the single player were from teams and were playing the same list or approximately the same list. So to warm up, right? It was not a 500 player event. It was more like a 180 player event. Yeah. But I felt it was on somehow more intensive or less diluted as an event. Yep. Now it's just a huge open, and I would like the other team to come back, but I understand why they wouldn't. You putting so much effort into your preparation, into you finding nice idea to sidestep meta. For example, my list, one of the fear was heavy scout from the other team on stream, and it was okay.
Who didn't know what 100 Primaris Crusaders do?
For example, Thousand Suns can be a problem for this list because they have a very heavy damage output. Okay, I won again. Yeah, I lost to like 40 in a snap. 40 in a turn, I won against Sacco. It was because I got a bit lucky, because the scenario was helping, because of lots of things. Imagine these matchups reveals that Thousand Sun are a solution against my list, whereas you could think the opposite, because I'm a witch hunter and they're witch, right?
Yeah, of course.
And it reveals something that a team would know. It is not happening. And same for Blood Angels. I encountered one Blood Angels. I killed him, absolutely smashed him in the single. Same with Finland. But some Blood Angels could easily kill me.
Yeah.
So if you reveal that during the single, I understand why some people are playing in single but not playing their lists, not to reveal any secrets, right?
100%. All right, transitioning a little bit away from Team France, what was your biggest surprises that you saw at the WTC this year, like either factions or nations?
Okay, so regarding factions, I would say USA with the Crusher Stampedes, and it's not the only one. They cooked pretty wide list that we were not thinking about, and until the last minute we didn't know why they were there, how they will be operated on the pairings. So it was the team we feared the most because it was the roster we understand the less. So that was the biggest surprise on the meta for us. Uh, Regarding the teams, we were very impressed by the performance of the new team. Singapore, Thailand was amazing. New Zealand, that has been there for 3 years, is rising to the top very, um, very
quickly.
fast and very quickly.
Only second year. Yeah, that was only their second year.
Oh, second year.
Yeah.
Okay.
Last year was
Imagine.
Crazy.
Second year. So very, and it's steady also. So it seems stable, and they have players that are very determined of it. So
Yeah.
I like it.
And I like that they're hungry. They want to, put everybody on notice.
They want more. Yeah. I love it.
I just had a quick look on BCP. So Eric Forsman, who played the Crusher Stampede for Team USA, he had 4 wins, 1 draw, and 2 losses. One was a 9, and 1 was a 7. So nothing blew that list out. And then two of his wins were very good. 2 of his wins were on the smaller side. So man, the Crusher Stampede really impressed me. The other one that really impressed me was Demons. I did not see Demons doing well at this event, and they absolutely did.
Yeah, and that's why I think this WTC was so amazing. Is the meta is very healthy right now. You have so if you love an army and you've been playing it for a long time and you know it by heart, and because it's not at the center of the meta, no one knows anymore how to play it.
Yeah,
you're gonna perform, right? So this demon player from Sweden performed very well.
Amazing.
Also, amazingly. And that's the new 40K, and that's a 40K I love. You can bring whatever you want and perform. No one dared to bring GSC. All right, but
fair.
Maybe if Eric Lazarus was there, it would have crushed it, right? So you never know. Only one Polish player to do that brought the 2. It was also Iceland that brought the Admech
and Poland.
Yoku. But still, they've done okay, right? So for something that you think is dead, okay, it works.
So Sweden had a really cool take because they were like almost the inverse. I was loving seeing you guys in Sweden kind of jostling for that top spot because you guys had the double Horde. Sweden had
Titanic
the double
versus
Knights.
Horde. Yeah,
they had the double Knights.
Horde. Yeah.
How did you guys evaluate Knights at this event? Because a lot of people said Knights couldn't play at this WTC. Knights had no chance. And I remember being like, me and the Aussies sitting around and being like, why are all the Europeans saying that like Chaos Knights are bad? Chaos Knights are good. They might not be like top 8 good, but they're worth considering. Did any of the Knights make the cut for you guys, or obviously
no? For us it was no. For us it was not worth working it, but we highly undervalued it because it had this value. It was in Def 1 for Sweden most of the time, and it was like a Thousandson trap because Thousandson would say, "Okay, I'm killing so fast the Renegade Knights. I'll do the same here with the Chaos Knight, with the Imperial Knight." And most of the time they were going for a drawish game where they thought it was going to be a 20 nail. So it was kind of it was smart from Sweden, but I'm not astonished from that they were smart. They are most of the time also quite the opposite of the Mediterranean spirit. So they respect a lot what they are playing against. They are very tactical. They are very patient. Where we have a very, very, very big mouth, thinking things are shit or things are that,
I'm happy you said it, mate.
Yeah, but it is true. And last year we were heavily slapped by them, also thinking they were a lesser nation and they absolutely crushed us. And this year they are the only one to have draw us. And the Imperial Knights also drew me because I was starting to feel exhausted. Maybe in some part of my brain, I thought it was an easy win autopilot. Maybe, and I played it like shit. And don't get me wrong. Not taking out the talent of my opponent that played it very well, but he himself recognized how I just did like a shitty game. 100%. Every round was shit. So,
well, you only played what 15 games in 6 days. Bah. I did the math, and I remember I told you this. We sat down. So you had 118 models in your army.
Yeah.
Including the Grimaldus' freaking servitors. If you just the movement phases, just 5 movement phases, so no charges, no pile-ins, no consolidates, moving that army 15. So that's 15 times 5, whatever that is, times 118. It was 8,860 odd models you had moved just in movement phases in those 6 days. Not counting charges, piles,
multiply that by 3 if
by
you
3 or 4.
Charge and 3 or 4.
Yeah.
Charge and pile cancellation.
Do you have a back brace now? Do you have a walking stick or a frame?
No. I just got a lot of rest. And but I have like callosity on my left hand because I realized when I was moving the models, to be precise, with my right hand, I put my left hand, my fists on the table to help my back stand. And now my girlfriend figured or realized I have callosity on my hands that I shouldn't have because I'm not a worker. I work behind the desk. What is that? What is that?
Amazing. All right, going into our last topic. So, interesting thing that has not happened for a little while now. I might get a WTC archivist to open up the books, but it's been quite a long time since we had an all, I guess, Heartland Europe podium. So we had, of course, France first place, Spain second place, and not Sweden? Poland in third place, Sweden in fourth place. So it's, I think, 2018, America, the USA won. 2019, England won. So non-English speaking Europe is what we'll say. It's been a long time since they were the dominant forces at the WTC. What do you think has changed, and what does that mean for the WTC?
Okay, so I think the team. Well, we have now like 10 teams that can pretend to win the WTC every year, at least, and it means that everyone is putting much more effort into preparing this event and trying to win it. So that's good for the competition. That's also hard for the competitors because it is more and more demanding to get ready for this event. But hey, that's how high level you cannot have. You can always get what you want. Well, as they say, so you cannot have a very nice event, very competitive, very creative, and not having the event, demanding event. So that's for sure, and that's first. But second, there's something hidden behind these results. The team, the England and USA, we encountered them in the final round. So they lived what we lived last year, ending 11th when we were on the winning path. So challenging all the big fish of the tank and losing. So when you lose, when you are fighting for the win, when you lose, you get thrown out of the podium. That's harsh, but that's how Swiss pairing works. And USA played the final game against us. It was a final because they could win the event if they won us and Sweden draw. They could also be second if they won us and Sweden won. And it could also be third if they draw us and Sweden draw.
Sweden draw, yeah.
And we would have been second, then they would have been third. So there's this Swiss pairing at the moment doesn't reflect
it's brutal.
It's brutal, and in my opinion, it doesn't reflect really faithfully how team have performed. And don't get me wrong, it's not me saying Spain shouldn't be second. We haven't faced them, so congrats to them. Well done. I think it's the first time in a long time. But what I'm saying is the way we've chosen to rank after the first place sometimes is a bit messy.
Yeah.
And I would love us to work on something that would feel fair. Maybe win sauce, maybe I don't know, maybe I would loser or winner brackets or something that could prevent you from falling too far when you are the winning.
My solution. So I know this from going to WTC, playing WTC, and this is just to explain to people at home. The WTC is built so that the team that comes first is undisputable the best team at the event. They had the hardest run, and they won. But then after that, that is 80% of the consideration is making sure that the best team wins. But then after that, like second place through to like sixth place could all pretty much be as good as each other. And it's just a couple of points here, a draw here, a draw there, and it's all pretty much different. Absolute kudos to the players who get there, so the teams who get the podium, absolutely deserved. But it's just like it could have been anybody in the top six. Could have almost got the win, if not for a couple of bits and pieces. My thing, and this is a bit selfish for me because I'm still haunted by 2019. If there is only two truly undefeated teams are going into the last round, regardless of how messy it makes the rest of the event, those two teams should play, and it's first and second.
It's what I think. I'm the same here. So I would look for like cutoff or like brackets that prevents you from getting ejected from the podium when you're playing a final, right?
But the issue is, in this example, it would have been Sweden versus France for 1 and 2, and then Spain gets screwed because Spain can't get second place, and Spain was truly undefeated going into it as well. They hadn't taken a loss. So it is messy, right? Yeah,
it is messy. It is. To be honest, it's not easy to find something that feels fair. Yeah, it's not forbidden to try to to work on it.
No reason not to. All right, last question, mate. Have you and the French team talked? Are you going to go again? Are you going to stay together and you're going to try and go again?
Well, you know how it works. So we have our league system that is going to an end at the. So we have the 4 best team of the first level of league that will face in what we call the Big Four in October. The winner of the Big Four in October will get to decide who is going to be captain again. And this new guy or previous guy, or you never know who is going to win a tournament, right? This guy will decide how the selection will be made this year. Of course, for this guy, it's going to be hard not to have a very close look to the previous world champion team. So every single 8 players. But still, it's also legitimate to think that when you've been world champion and forever the first in France, maybe you're less motivated than others that just watched you in TV or YouTube from home and want to have that also. So it's going to be one of the challenge from the next captain to decide who is going to stay, who is going to be replaced.
Fantastic.
Very, very hard. Yeah.
Dude, it gets harder. Talking to the teams who've won in and what I say the modern era, the WTC era, like Poland had so much more work put into them. Australia the year before had so much more work put into them. Belgium just prepared for Australia and got a draw because they put like 99% of their effort into Australia. I'm assuming France was similar when you have the big target on you because you just won. and it gets a lot harder. Which is what I think going back to back in the modern era would be such the crowning achievement.
I would. Okay, so that I'll be motivated for sure for next year as a player, and it would be something that it would be a critical aim, right? To try to go back to back and win that event twice in a row. Let's not get cocky now, because as you said, it is no. As you said, it's very difficult to win this event. Yeah. I would think it is reasonable to aim for a podium, because you know that you are going to bring some work, you're going to bring some serious shit. Then after that, it depends on how successful you've been to find the key on the meta, to have this little edge on the opponent. And if you do not find that, well, you will not win.
So,
and that's it.
Right, so I'm throwing the gauntlet down for France to come at least second. Because so far, Australia won 2022, came third 2023. Poland won 2023, came third 2024.
Okay.
So that's the tradition right now, is that whoever wins comes third the next year. France do one better.
We'll try to do better, but I don't want to think the opponent team have not the ability and the efforts to make sure to try at least.
I'm trying so hard.
Yeah.
I'm trying so hard to get to turn the cogs. Anyway, I'll leave you alone, brother. Thank you so much for coming on. We'll wind it up there. Anybody you'd like to shout out? Anybody you'd like to thank? Anybody you would like to mention before we leave?
Yeah, a massive shout out to Manuel again, because we would never been there without him. And also a big thanks to Moyashi, that was at the start of the idea of the Black Templar, and this list carried so hard the pairings in this year. It was a great idea, and when you love to create and to list builds, there's no way you do that alone. So you get the inspiration where you can get it.
Absolutely, mate. Also like to shout out Manuel as well. 40K WTC ambassador, absolute legend.
Absolute legend. Yeah.
All right, we are done. Come over and join us over on part 2 for some more goodness with Mr. Weiss. Hopefully, you'll catch us over there. Art of War Done over on Patreon. Mate, sorry, did you have any YouTube channels, any podcasts you wanted to plug?
No, I'm good.
Easy. All right. We're out of here. See you later, guys. Stay tuned for another lovely song by my brother's band. Probably going to put on Sunrise for this one because I'm feeling a little joyous. And hopefully you guys enjoy it. You'll stick around for the song. I hope you guys are enjoying having these songs at the end. Because I really love what my brother does and love supporting him. And hopefully you guys are enjoying it too. All right, Olivier, we'll see you on the other side.